Hi, my name's Mark and I'm an asexual person. These are 10 things that I truly wish people knew about asexuality. I've saved the very best one for last, but the first one is quite simply, I wish that people knew we existed. That's right. There are too many people in this world who don't actually believe that asexuality is real. Asexual people make up about 1 to 2% of the population. Now you might think, 1 to 2%, that's pretty small. But if you think about it, in the United Kingdom, that is about the same proportion of people who have green eyes or red hair. Okay? Now, nobody would say that green eyes and red hair don't exist. They exist. They're not as common as other things, but they exist. Asexuality is the same. It exists across the world, it has existed throughout time, and it is a perfectly valid state of being. The second thing that I'd really love people to know is that being asexual can be incredibly challenging. Asexual people suffer from extremely high rates of depression, anxiety, suicide even, addiction, self-harm, and other types of issues. And so when you meet an asexual person, I would love it if people just acknowledge that, and that leads me on to the third point, which is that asexuality is not a medical condition, okay? We do not suffer from those high rates of mental health issues and other things because it's some kind of brain disorder or some kind of disease. No, we suffer from those things because of the ignorance of society. We live in a world where everyone is assumed to have sexuality, to have sexual attraction, to be allosexual. And actually, there's a pretty significant group of people in the world who aren't. We don't. Or we connect with it in a very different way. And so trying to navigate that world as an asexual person leads to these incredibly high rates of mental health issues and incredible challenges. The fourth thing that I would love people to know is the difference between asexuality and libido. So asexuality is a state of being where you do not experience sexual attraction. Okay? Libido is to do with your natural fluctuation of sex drive, and people always get these two mixed up. So an asexual person can have a perfectly high libido, but they don't experience it. It's more of a mind thing. Whereas somebody who has, let's say, low libido, they experience sexual attraction. They know what that is. They connect with that, and that is something that they experience, they think about, but their body is just not creating that sexual drive. Yeah, right? If anyone would like more information on this, or if anyone would like to connect with other asexual people or to chat with me, maybe you're going through things related to this, please let me know. I have a Patreon where we have a great community of people you can come and connect with. You can speak with me 24/7, and we also have group chats and other things. So come and join us at patreon.com/notdefining. There should be a link up here. The fifth thing I would love people to know about asexuality is that it is not a binary thing, okay? You're not just asexual or not asexual. It's a spectrum. All human sexuality exists on a spectrum. That means that if you are asexual, you may be on the extreme end of the spectrum. So you may be what we call a sex repulsed asexual. And that means that even the idea of sex just kind of makes you sick. It's like you can't even think about it. It's just abhorrent to you, right? Completely. Then you have other asexual people who they don't want to have sex, they don't have any desire to have sex, but they might have other forms of intimacy, or it might not kind of repulse them. They understand why it might be nice, but they're just not interested. And then you have a whole spectrum right the way along, including demisexual people. That's people who don't experience sexual attraction right away, but they may experience some sexual attraction once they have a close bond with a partner. You have all kinds of different identities along the spectrum, but the most important thing to realize is that if someone says that they're asexual, or ace for short, it doesn't mean that they never have sex. It doesn't mean that they are repulsed by sex. It doesn't mean that they are on that hard end of the spectrum. The next thing is that, connected with this, being asexual does not mean that you don't have sex. As we said before, some asexual people don't, but many asexual people do, okay? You can have sex for many different reasons. Either you really love your partner and you enjoy the intimacy with that particular person, or you might experience sexual attraction sometimes and then sometimes not. This is sometimes known as ace flux, yeah? You can be fluid in your asexuality, right? Or there may be many other reasons why asexual people will have sex. But suffice it to say, if you are asexual, it does not mean that you don't or can't have sex. Number 7, asexual is different from aromantic. Okay, so asexual means, you know, the absence or the low incidence of sexual attraction. Aromantic means the absence of or low incidence of romantic attraction. Okay, so you might be asexual, but you might still have romantic attractions. Okay, so you might want to date someone, you might want to have that romantic love and affection. You might be asexual and aromantic, but the two don't necessarily come together, and it's really important to understand that. Thing number 8 I would love for people to know is that asexual people are and have always been part of the LGBTQIA+ community. We are part of the queer community. So often we get erased, we get forgotten, because we are one of the smaller, less represented groups. And it's really, really challenging because we experience, as I say, some of the highest rates of discrimination, of mental health issues and other things. So we are some of the members of that community who need the support and who need the togetherness the most. We need our queer family to help us, right? But we are so often ignored, so often disregarded, and a lot of the LGBTQ+ community can be highly sexualized in the way that some of the bars, some of the clubs are, even Pride and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wish that people in our community would just think a little more about ace people and how to include us and make us feel welcome, because it would really, really help. The 9th thing that I would love people to know is that asexuality doesn't have to exist by itself. So you can be ace and you can be gay, for example. That means that your attractions, if you have them, are to predominantly the same gender, but you also don't experience sexual attraction to some degree, right? Or you could be ace, but also hetero-romantic, okay? And oftentimes people will, again, disregard those people from the queer community because it's like, oh, well, you're kind of hetero, you're kind of straight. It's like, well, no, my aceness makes me queer. So that can be difficult. Myself, for example, as you can see, the bi flag up there, I am bi and ace, which means that sometimes I joke, it's like I can be attracted to anyone and also no one. But if I'm going to have attractions, it doesn't matter what gender you are, so bi. But I also don't really experience attraction in the same way to an allosexual person. So I am bi and ace. You can also have asexuality with all different gender identities, trans people, non-binary people, gender fluid people, you name it. Ace does not have to exist by itself. And the final thing, and the thing that I really wish people would know more than anything else, is that ace people are so amazing. We make the best friends, the best partners. I often struggle to talk about my asexuality because I think that people will make assumptions. They'll be like, oh, you know, he's not interested in anything to do with dating or love or relationships or affection or intimacy or any type of bond. Like, it's so wrong. I'm a great person. I'm a great lover. I am a very affectionate person. I'm a very committed person. I express my intimacy, my affection, my love, my bonds with people in a slightly different way that is slightly different to the allo norm. However, if you think that going out with me or having a bond with me is not going to be great, then you're missing out. So, do you relate with any of these? Do you have any more? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments. And if you are struggling with anything related to this, please come check us out on Patreon. Come and write in the comments. I will get you to the right support. Thank you so much for listening, and please share this video so that we can raise awareness if you can. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.